Hey guys, remember, I've made a game. If you want to go play an app that I've created, hit up the Google Play Store and download Blockchain today. By the time you're watching this, you only have about 4 more hours to play Gambit. So while the video is running, start up the game, and by the time you actually load into a match of Gambit, this will be done, I promise. So let's talk about the new PvPvE game mode coming to Destiny 2 with Forsaken, the free trial that we're able to play through up until about 1 p.m. Eastern today, and how I feel about the mode, and my general first impression review right after the drop. So what's up everybody, how's it going? Legundo here, welcome back, and today we're talking a little bit of Destiny 2 news. Forsaken is right around the corner, it launches on Tuesday, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to be able to play Destiny 2 and have something new to do in that game again. I'm going to be doing a video on Destiny 2 and MCC and everything a little bit later this week, but for right now, let's talk about Gambit, the new PvPvE game mode coming as part of Forsaken. It's a new, separate from the Crucible PvP experience. It does not share any rankings or achievements or bounties with the Crucible. It is completely independent. Here you'll meet the Drifter, this mysterious character who we will apparently learn more about in one of the DLCs forthcoming after Forsaken. He was featured in that little Vidoc that they released. And you fight on this, so far, only currently one map, which is a little chunk of the EDZ city with this little terminal in the middle that you can bank motes into that you get from killing enemies. Kill enemies, bank motes. The more you bank, the more you screw over the other team. Send 5 motes into the bank at once and you send a small blocker, 10 for a medium blocker and 15, which is the maximum that you can carry at any point in time for a large blocker. Plus, for every 25 motes you bank, a portal activates and you can send one member of your team to the opposing team's field to hunt them down and kill them. Once you bank 75 motes, you summon the boss or primeval for your side. Kill that, you win the round. And also, when both teams are in primeval phase, the portals just continuously recharge so you can continuously invade during the primeval phase for either team. Honestly, it takes a little getting used to at first. The enemies seem to hit a little bit harder than normal. It might have just been my gear being not what it used to be and me just not being used to the 2.0 sandbox, but damn, I was dying a hell of a lot more than I expected to be. But once you get into the habit of killing enemies, running around, collecting motes, weighing that risk reward of do I go for a higher mote count and risk potentially losing them due to an invasion or a blocker, or do I make sure that the opposing team is blocked at all times by just continuously sending small blockers? Also, if you're able to communicate with your teammates, which I was not so fortunate, I was playing primarily solo in this playlist, and it was a pretty frustrating experience when we got teamed up with somebody who was obviously 4 friends sitting in party chat. Communication here is key, and having one player specifically being your mote runner, having 2 players focus on slaying, and having a third being focused on having a good loadout for invading greatly increases your chances at success. Sleeper Simulant and Whisper of the Worm are my go-to weapons for invading another area. They will absolutely decimate opposing guardians in this mode. And they're good for burning down bosses too, so that's extremely useful. But making sure you have at least one player primarily collecting motes is super useful. The first wave, if everybody just randomly collects motes, doesn't give any one player enough to spawn a blocker. If the other team focuses and is able to collect 5 or even 10 of those motes onto a single player, they're sending a medium blocker before the opposing team has had any chance to score whatsoever, and that'll put a huge damper on their tempo for the remainder of the match. Anytime by some chance I was able to get 10 full motes for the first, or had anyone on my team get 10 motes for the first wave of enemies spawning, we were able to turn it in and get that medium blocker in place. We won every round where we were able to take the first engagement of NPCs and turn that into an immediate detriment to the other team. Honestly, I think there's gonna be quite a bit of strategy to Gambit, whether you get players who just continuously chip away with small blockers, if they're continuously saving up for larger ones, when to do an invasion, when to focus on the enemy team, and the fact that you can see not only both teams team's current scores, but their potential scores for all moats that are currently not banked but are being held by Guardians, allows you to really time your attacks and strikes appropriately. The game gets chaotic as hell as you get to the later phases. Once the Primeval spawns with all of the associated support enemies, it's always taken, at least it was so far in this sort of demo, it is nothing but black and white particle effects, too many enemies to count, and absolute chaos between you all trying to burn down the boss and enemies invading your area and trying to figure out where they are and killing them too. Because death heals the Primeval. If you're killed during that phase, your boss regains health, essentially reducing your score and setting you further back from victory. Get used to seeing that message a lot. It seems like we're all going to see that message a lot. That's the next meme for the Destiny community. But overall, I enjoyed Gambit, albeit while being frustrated with it. Playing solo against a coordinated team definitely has me at a distinct disadvantage. And while this is true for any sort of cooperative game mode or competitive game mode, if one team's communicating and one's not, they're more likely to win. It did make the experience of Gambit more frustrating than just not victory. So that's something hopefully that can be tuned and tweaked and avoided moving forward, or I just need to get good and get a bunch of people who actually play Destiny to play Gambit with. But despite all of the chaos and everything else, I can't help but compare Gambit to Warzone almost in reverse though. Instead of requisitioning weapons, it's the ones you grind for and bring into the arena that you're actually able to use. The games around Gambit and Warzone are very, very different games, but the core gameplay loop of killing enemies to get energy and or motes, using that energy and or motes to in some way spawn better weapons or affect the other team negatively, and then capitalizing on that to burn down some vaguely core and or boss-like object, kind of works as an analogy enough for a 10-minute video, so that works for me. But that's pretty much it. I like Gambit. I'm looking forward to playing more of it when Forsaken drops. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to be playing Destiny 2 on Xbox still, or if I'm going to be moving to PC. It all depends on if I can get some groups together and on what platform. So if you're playing Destiny 2, whether you've been there since day one, you're just jumping back in now, or you're waiting until Forsaken drops and seeing the reviews from everybody and then potentially getting it then, let me know all of that in those comments down below and what platform you're potentially going to be playing on. It's going to have a huge impact on me moving forward. That's pretty much it. Thank you to everybody, and a huge shout out to everybody who tuned into the stream yesterday while we were playing Gambit on Twitch. If you haven't heard, I have officially become a turncoat and turned purple for my streaming activities. I'm going to be doing that over at twitch.tv/Legundo. No longer streaming here on YouTube because it really turns out that that really negatively affects overall video performance, and I don't want to see that happening anymore. But enough of random digressions and conversations about the game mode. I want to know what you think. What do you think of Gambit? Is it something that you're interested in? Are you going to be avoiding it? And when you answer that, let me know if you're a primarily PvP or PvE player. I'd be interested to see which half of the community gravitates towards Gambit more, or if it actually can ride the line between PvP and PvE experiences and be appetizing to both groups. I'd be very interested to see that. But as always, you know what to do. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you hated it, subscribe for some more Destiny and everything else we do here on the channel. Go out there, be good to each other, and I'll talk to you next time.